So I entitled this video "The Sobriety Ego," and it's a funny thing because it's something that came to me after my last relapse. The funny thing is, once you decide to stop participating in certain behaviors, such as drinking or drugs or whatever your vice is, and you get I don't know, maybe 1 year in, maybe 2 years in, um, you get what's called a sobriety ego. And I had a sobriety ego. Um, all of a sudden, booze is a nemesis, and you can do no wrong, and uh, people who drink should, reconsider their actions in life and point their self in a different direction through healthier habits, with training and you know fitness, boxing, whatever it is that you got to do to basically replace the bad habit with a good habit. And this can go with food, this goes with drugs and alcohol, this goes with any kind of vice that you have. Now, I've seen on some of these social media platforms that uh, you get a lot of people who are on the sobriety wagon, so to speak. Um, and they start documenting their sobriety journey, and every day they come on, they tell you how they feel, what day it is, and all this other stuff. Which is fine. Whatever, to each their own. Whatever works for you, great. But the thing is, relapse is inevitable, and it doesn't matter if you're 1 month in, 1 year in, 10 years in, or 20 years in. Your relapse is inevitable. And when that time comes, you should really take a step back and consider the fact that you did have a good streak, right? For me, it was 4.5 years. When my father passed away, I fell off the wagon. You know, uh, it sounds like an excuse, but I think it's a pretty damn good one. So I threw 4.5 years down the drain. I've known other people who've gone, 7, 8 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they slip up. They're at a party, they're having fun, whatever the case may be, and they fall back. The thing is, it's not about relapsing and falling back that really is the danger. I think the danger lies in not knowing when to stop and realizing that you've basically going back into old habits that got you to where you are right now in life. For me, it was detrimental. My alcohol, uh, you know, just got me into so much trouble, and you know, physically and mentally was ruining my life. And I was fortunate enough to come across a YouTuber named Wes Watson that everybody loves to hate, because he's a bit callous in his delivery, like sort of like a drill sergeant. But he was the only guy that got through to me. Now, after my father passed away back in June, I slipped up. I started drinking again. Was numbing out. But I wasn't the same guy. I wasn't the same drunk as I was prior to that. You go back years. I was mentally unstable. And the fact of the matter is, your mental state really determines the kind of way you're going to act or be when you drink alcohol. If your mental state is flawed, even if you smoke weed or whatever it is, it's just going to enhance the way you're already feeling. And for me, I had a lot of anger. 6 years ago, I had a lot of anger. I was just lashing out on people for no reason, ruined a lot of relationships, ruined a lot of friendships, uh, isolated myself away from the world. Would get on Facebook Live and start just being a complete belligerent fool. So I had to get to a point where you needed that one person to get through to you because no one else was. And I couldn't seem to break the pattern on my own. So now, my so-called lifelong accountability partner, Wes, has fallen off the wagon, and everything that he preached about working out and discipline and non-negotiable acts that we do every day, and we get up at a certain time and we read a positive message and we work out, and for me it was boxing and go for a walk every day, uh, you know and I started to feel really, really good. But the thing was, I was starting to preach, uh, you know being sober, and basically, this is the way to go. Like I'm the Almighty God that's saying that I'm 4.5 years in sober, and uh, anybody else who drinks or does drugs is the enemy, right? And it's not like that at all. And I mean, that's a sobriety ego. And now, since I relapsed, I've got other people now with a sobriety ego, right? I'm not that type of person anymore. I don't drink. I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't do that. That's all fine and dandy. That's all fine and dandy. Congratulations. But just remember, those demons are coming for you. They're coming for you. Life will come knocking. And you may get a year, you may get 2 years, you may get 5 years, whatever it is of sobriety. You give yourself a break. You give your liver a break. You get clarity. You get in good shape. You have a different view on life rather than a drunken, alcoholic, foolish person who's constantly getting into trouble and constantly involved with the law and stuff that never goes away unless you really have to sit down and think about what you're doing instead of the I don't give a shit attitude, right? If you truly want to change. So, yeah, I slipped up, and for about 6 months I was drinking and stuff like that. But I wasn't the same guy anymore. I wasn't the same angry drunk anymore. Found out later on that I had psychosis. That's the reason why I was losing my mind and lighting up on people and lashing out at people. So we get medicated for it. And 4.5 years of sobriety on the medication. I slip up. Now I'm drinking. But now I'm a different type of I'm a different type of drunk, right? I'm a more sociable, relaxed, calm, cool, collected. Just want to have, conversation with somebody, and basically not make a fool out of myself or do stupid stuff or whatever it was that I did, right? So that break gave me the clarity. So now, once again, I had to step back. When I see Wes fall off the wagon, he was jacked as anything, working out every day, at the gym, putting out positive messages on YouTube. Of course, he's so callous in his delivery that a lot of people couldn't really integrate what he was saying. And a lot of people, I mean to say, a lot of people really disliked the man. For me, I saw through it, right? It doesn't matter to me that his deliverance was so callous, but for other people who are just a little bit maybe highly sensitive to people raising their voice, or you know putting out these callous direct messages, would right away say, "Oh, that guy's a fucking, he's a goof, he's an idiot, that guy's he's this and he's that." He's like, you watch maybe what, 30 seconds of a video that I sent you, or that I had posted on Facebook, and right away they get this judgment, right? Judgment. Uh, uh, you can't judge a book by its cover, sort of deal, right? And I just to look at the guy now, I feel really bad. He's basically flipped the script on his life. Went from like, the gym and all his messages and all his positive self-talk and all the stuff that he talked about for years and years and years went out the window when he fell off the wagon. So now he's lost all his muscle. I think I'm bigger than he is right now, and spends his days at the strip club with just throwing money around with strippers and stuff like that. Got into an altercation at the gym he was at with some big black dude, and it was all filmed, and so now he may be facing some time in jail. I don't know if he's doing this because of the fact or whatever it is, but he stopped making YouTube. I kind of connect with him on Instagram a little bit through direct messages. I said, basically the shit that he was telling me, I started telling him back, and I said, I made a little compilation video for you, man. Maybe you need a little reminder of the message that you were putting out. And so he flipped the script, and which was really heartbreaking to see. But I just was watching some of his old videos there come up on my YouTube channel, and they still deliver a lot of punch. They really do, even though I've seen them. It's just like after you watch a video, you want to just start working out. It's just the energy that's coming off the feed. But I think basically what I'm trying to say is, don't get the sobriety ego. Don't all of a sudden think that, just because you decided to stop participating in a certain behavior, you stop drinking, you stop doing this, you stop doing that. Don't come down on other people who are still, enjoy drinking or still enjoy going out and having a good time, especially if they have a life and they have their shit together. I mean, who are you to say, right? To each their own, right? Where I'm saying, or where I was going with the whole thing, is that some people who drink, like myself, back 6-7 years ago, shouldn't have been drinking, because it just led to freaking destruction. And it just led to, it was like everywhere I went, man, I was like a tornado, just fucking barreling through life and just causing chaos and disruption. And you end up getting a lot of people just not wanting to be around you anymore. And as such, right? But I kind of see it as kind of funny, because it's like a reflection, like a mirror reflection, where you see it's like, oh no, I don't do that no more, and I don't want to be around those type of people no more, and all this other stuff, right? Okay, that's fine and dandy, but guess what? Your time is coming. You might get, like I said, a few months, a few years, whatever the case might be, but you will relapse. It is inevitable. And at that point, there's no more sobriety ego, and that's basically where it comes to an end. So you relapse and you get back on the wagon, and you relapse, you get back on the wagon. That's just the way it is. If you have an addiction problem, your brain is wired a certain way to just do things to sabotage. And that's the way my brain was. I mean, there was no way for me to stop doing what I was doing. And sometimes you need to have someone to yell at you and call you a piece of shit and call you a little bitch and whatever the case may be, tell you you're fucking up, and just to snap you out of it. And he was it for me. I watched for 3 years, and I was a lot of the times when I was drunk and I'm watching him yell at me and everything else, and I slowly started coming around, and I slowly, I went and took that walk, and then I started with the weights, and then it took time. It took years. It took years of discipline to get to that level, and the years and years of doing that led right back to a relapse, which is so inevitable. Depending on what you have going on in your life, right? Maybe you lost somebody that, a family member, or maybe something happened that's just too unbearable that you just need to drink and just numb out, right? And that was a lot of it for me. It was it's a numbing agent, right? You just drink, you get that dopamine rush, you feel good, and then, whether or not you're responsible enough not to get too plastered drunk and do stupid shit, or you just drink and lock yourself away in your house and enjoy your time, with what you're doing. Pretty much the bottom line, right? So basically what I'm saying is, don't get the sobriety ego, because it's inevitable at one point or another. Your little, people they get stuck up, and they think that they're so cool and that they're better and all this other shit, which is the worst when it comes to alcohol and any kind of drugs or anything else that you're on, because you quit for say 7 or 8 months, and now it's like, you want to tell everybody how well you're doing, and and there's a market for that, right? There is. This one chick she's doing very well on the social media platforms. She's basically documenting her sobriety mission, and good for her. I mean, good for her. But little does she know that, and I've seen it through many people that got sober, especially, with females, I find more than males, they really like to push that out, the fact that they're doing so well, and they've done so well, and they're on this day, and it's like they're so stuck up in their own ways that they think that they're all of a sudden better because they've decided to stop doing something. It's not the way it goes, and you'll find that out eventually when that relapse comes upon you one day. Like I said, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week or next month or next year, but it will eventually catch up to you, and it is inevitable for that relapse to happen. I see that happen to the best. So, right, like if it happens to the person that I held accountability for and looked up to and got me off the fucking booze, then it's gonna happen to just about everyone. You may not fall and slip and be there forever. You may fall and be like, okay, I slipped, I relapsed. Now let's get back on the wagon again, and let's try again and come back stronger. All right, shit happens. So, anyways, 20 minutes in. That's long enough for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Take it easy. See you next.